if I was with him, maybe that don't happen because of my discernment, my keenness, the way I pay attention to shit. So Rampage came to the show. The next day they invited me to the Apollo. I showed up, and it was like memorable moments ever since then because I got to the Apollo. I met them there. Busta Rhymes showed up. Busta Rhymes tell him to come outside. They jump in the Red Expedition. And it was the first time that anybody had ever heard "Put Your Hands on My Eyes Can See." And this is the crazy part. I'm standing outside the truck.
Yeah. Ooh.
And they playing the song, and I'm like,
okay.
And just as a fan, my insides was jumping, but I couldn't really demonstrate that excitement because I'm working. So, you know, I'm 22 years old, and then all of a sudden, my relationship, I worked with Rampage for about a good year. I'm gonna say from 97 to 98 solid. And anytime I came home, I still had my job at the Tunnel. So I had met Nori in Connecticut. He came to do a show when he was with Traj and Pone was in jail. Yeah, and so when we met, we had a couple of things in common.
So this like, War Report days.
What's your name? My name's Vic. He's like, oh, my name's Vic too. And he's like, yo, you Spanish? And I'm like, yeah, I'm Dominican. He's like, yo, I'm Puerto Rican and black. So he's like, yo, I fuck with you, man. If I ever get big or if I ever get famous, you're going to be my bodyguard. Here I'm thinking this nigga just talking, and 2 years later, a year and a half later, I'm at the Tunnel, and they shooting Beverly. And the Tunnel had got a lot of the bouncers that work. Hold on, let me say this. They got a lot of the bouncers that worked at the club to do security for the movie set. So he just so happened to show up with Nas. I don't even see him.
Okay.
Just trying to do my 12 hours, get my bread, and go home. And I felt somebody jump on my back. And when he jumped on my back, it was like, I was like, yo, who this? And I was going to flip him over. And it was like, nah, don't flip him. It's Nori. It's Nori. And he was like, I told you I was going to come and get you. And then that quick, I called Mike Lighty, and next thing you know, I was with him for 3 years.
Man. Quick question. So you were there when they shot Beverly in the Tunnel? At the beginning scene? That's the beginning scene, right?
The club was actually going. Like, they shot that scene while the club was open. Like, the Tunnel was an operation. Niggas wasn't going to shut nothing down for the club. So when you see them walking in and you see that's real. That's everybody who's doing in those positions. Like, yeah, like, so all that was real. Like, all that was on time. You know, same thing with the DMX Get At Me Dog video. Like, we didn't know what was going on. It was just DMX is performing. We didn't know niggas was shooting the video. Next thing you know is a movie. You know what I'm saying? Yo, shout out to Big Mark. If I see somebody comment, I'm gonna show them love.
Yeah, wow.
Shout out to Big Mark, my brother. The big soul. He been with me since day one. Been outside. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Salute. Thank you for joining. Damn. So in your tunnel work, like you were saying, wasn't really like no.
Man, I'm gonna tell you
what kind of training
from everybody
to do the security, bodyguard business.
And we all showed up. And I was just the loudest. They was like, yo, we need y'all to clear this block, and we need y'all to be verbal. And I was like, ladies and gentlemen, y'all need to clear the street. It don't matter who you are. I don't care who you with. If you ain't got, you know, the required credentials, get off the block. And I just, persistence. I had no problem being boisterous. I had no problem being loud. I understood I understood the magnitude of what we were doing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I didn't understand how big it would become. Like when I was at the Tunnel, I never thought about working with 50. When I was at the Tunnel, I never thought about working with rappers. I'm thinking about getting this money and getting home safe. And so, you know,
yes, sir.
As God would have it, people saw me, they took a liking to me. I don't know, man. Like, I never asked for this life, but I'm just glad that God gave it to me, and he knew that my shoulders were broad enough to carry it. I've had a lot of artists, never had an artist scratched, never had an artist robbed, Never had nobody in the entourage, not with me there. And I give glory to God. Like, I don't want to sound like Mr. Badass.
That's
you know
beautiful.
What I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It ain't that, but I definitely played my part.
Right. Absolutely. So like I'm just this thing like you said to me. It's one of my questions. Like, so you pretty much learning on the job as far as with like being a personal bodyguard.
From a block where it was a lot of hustlers. It was a lot of
Okay.
It was a lot of real men. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is what I tell niggas about me. I learned how to be a big dude at an early age. Like, I understood. Like, I see a lot of big dudes, and it's like they trying to be little niggas, right? Like they trying to. Nah, and I'm like. I swear, I'm not even trying to be funny, man. I'm not even trying to be funny. Yeah, but it's like, yeah.
Forgive me for laughing.
Yeah, like, you know, it's like the big nigga trying to be.
Why would you want to be 5'9", 200 pounds?
I get it, but it's like, you know, you got to use what God gave you. And so, my father was a big man. I grew up, my family members.
Yes, sir.
I grew up around a lot of dudes that just were real men, like integrity, like speak when you're spoken to, learn how to mind your business. You know, ain't no gossiping. Like, we've been on the air for, you know, whatever. Like, we've been talking for a minute. I ain't gonna talk about no other nigga. Cause no. And I'm not talking about like artists.
I might ask you a little something.
Talk about who niggas sleep with, like there's certain shit that I see out here, and I feel real disgusted with some of these dudes. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of the reasons why it took me a long time to even have to. Yeah. The reason I've never done one of these before is because of that. Like, how dare you? You never, ever bite the hand that feeds you. I'm not saying I get along with everybody I worked with. I'm not saying we call each other on birthdays and wish each other Merry Christmases, because we don't. I did what I did. They did what they did for me. And at the end of the day, they changed my tax bracket. My homes got bigger. My cars got nicer. And my savings account grew. But at the end of the day, it's not like we friends. Yeah, you have to be. Because
but you be a professional.
So listen, man, for anybody that's watching this, I'm going to give you a quick gem. Familiarity breeds contempt. Whenever you get familiar with somebody, that's when you start trying to joke and play and say little slick shit and do little slick shit to see how much you can get away with. I don't never let familiarity cloud my vision. I'm only here because I'm willing to die. I'm only here because I'm willing to kill. So let's not act like you like my jokes and you think I'm the funniest nigga in the world, and that ain't it. It's just everybody playing their position, everybody playing their role, you know, and we understood that at the time. It's like, I can't even tell you, like, the reason I became one of the better bodyguards, let me say this, right? I put my resume against anybody. But the reason that I became one of the best is because of Deuce and 6'7". Yes, because what happens is, when I met them, I was a good bodyguard, right? But now I'm around real dudes.
Okay.
Murder unit.
Right.
So now I have to.
Yes, like, sir.
My aggression had to grow to that level. My awareness had to grow to that level. My paranoia had to grow to that level. Because now I'm dealing with dudes that we together every day. We going on tour together. We family, but they really outside. And so that made me even better. So without me being around G Unit, I would have never been ready for 50. I mean, without me being around Murder Unit, I would have never been able to be around G Unit. Let me say that.
Without being around
because
Murder
what
Unit.
It is they prepared me for what I saw. They prepared me for
I got it.
Shit gonna get ugly. Shit gonna get sticky. People gonna start asking questions. People gonna start, you know, it could get to a point where you find yourself in a precarious situation. But you learn, I chose this life. This life chose me. So I gotta do whatever comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and And it's just, I'm humble, man. I'm grateful to be here. Even for the 17 people watching us, right? Like, I'm humble that they would take the time to bags to Billy. I love you, Billy. You already know. Stay alert, stay dangerous. Like, yeah, you know, it's just one of them situations, man, but I'm humble. I never thought I would be here. Like, when I was in my 20s and in my 30s doing this, I really thought that my life was going to end or I was going to be in prison.
Well, can I just say something? Because I asked Deuce a question about murder unit running with Capone and NORE. And I was like, just me as a fan, I'm from Baltimore. I'm not privy to real New York goings-ons besides what I hear, you know, through media and, you know, like you said, wasn't the internet back then, so magazines and shit. And I remember asking him, like, was murder unit kind of like they security or was y'all just crew? But he was like, no, we was just crew, but I get it. Like, you would have but, you know.
Nah, he being humble, man. Cause
okay, all right.
Nori,
please
you know,
correct.
and I can say this, man. Niggas know what it is with me. Nori was able to move in New York the way he moved because of MU. And not only in New York, like I'm talking about everywhere. We went to LA for the Social Wars when everybody was getting raw. No, I'm telling you, when like this is '99. Everybody got raw. Like Bizzy Bone.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Bizzy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony got laid down in the middle of the street, right in front of the Beverly Center, right in front of me. They took his rollie and his chain and went in his pockets, and he never even budged. I'm telling you, we was out there with 138 and 5 knives, and ain't nobody even looked at us the wrong way. When it jumped off at the Social Wars and niggas was, Deuce was walking, Deuce, 6, a couple dudes that don't deserve their number no more because of whatever happened. I'm telling you, like, MU was quite different, nigga. Like, they shut the tunnel down. There ain't never been a crew that made the tunnel close early. I mean, they made the tunnel close early.
Can you tell me about that?
Oh, man.
Bro,
the tunnel was
just saying this.
Yo,
I don't listen. I've never been to the tunnel.
3,000 every Sunday, man.
I've heard these stories,
back then, albums used to drop on Tuesday. So whoever had an album dropping on Tuesday performed at the tunnel the prior Sunday.
Yep.
It didn't matter if it was Snoop, Juvenile, Cash Money, Dre. It don't matter who it was. Hove, DMX. And so seeing them performed and they did the Bang Bang song, and you know, I'm just gonna say the club ended early, and you know what I'm saying, like, and the crazy part for me was I was a tunnel employee, but I was an MU affiliate. So this was mind-boggling to me because I'm like, yo, these niggas is doing some, you know, they went to work, but at the end of the day, that was my people, and so I understood that this is what's happening now. The game was getting more aggressive. That's when the game was going from shiny suits and you know, and the jewelry and the Versace and shit to like niggas was back on fatigues and champion hoodies and you know, niggas. Yeah, it was that transition was starting again.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Carhartts and Structure Timbs and shit. Yeah, man. Since you brought up the brother Deuce, I did reach out to him.
Yo, shout out to my brother Top Level Guap.
Shout out Chevy Boy. I gotta find out where I wrote this shit down.
You already know how.
Deuce told me to ask you about one time y'all were in Rochester, New York, and y'all got a trap backstage. He told you, yo, give me the joint.
What happened
and you told him, nah, because you're going to use it.
Man, you know, when you travel the country, you do shit that seemed like a good idea, right? So Nori and them had this thing where his hype man used to come out, Meza Mussolini, and when they would come out, they would do this thing like, yo, Nori couldn't make it, you know, like it was like this skit, right? Like, he's not gonna be able to perform. The police not gonna let him perform or whatever. And then what would happen?
Fuck with the crowd a little
they would play. Oh, it ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. Did I do that? That mystical shit, right? And then Nori would come out to that. So it was like this whole, and that shit down south was beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Chicago, they loved it. We did that shit in Rochester. Niggas wasn't feeling that shit at all. Like they hit us with the Nori not performing. Next thing you know, niggas started throwing Henny bottles. We was standing on the speaker about to go on stage.
Oh